Welcome to In Her Voice, a podcast created for women who listen to and live by their deepest wisdom, their inner voice. This was made for you, the woman who feels pulled to more, to lead, to create, to dream, and to be a world changer. My name is Kelly Covert, and I am an inner voice coach. Join me here each week as we explore what it means to reach for your inspired potential, all while honoring your worthiness each and every day. Hello. This is Kelly, and you are listening to In Her Voice. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being patient with me with my couple of weeks off. It's been, as you know, a heavy time here in the world, and my heart just asked for a little bit of space. So I just want to say thank you for being patient with me and giving me that space. But now my ideas are flowing. I was driving in the car last night and it was raining, and I kept having to switch my windshield wipers to different speeds because it was raining harder, and so I needed them to go faster, and then it would slow down a little bit and it would make that horrible noise when the windshield wiper goes over the window and it's not quite wet enough. So then I would have to slow down the wiper speed a little bit. And it reminded me of this time I was talking to a woman. I don't really even remember how it came up. It was many years ago. But I was talking to a woman that I knew, and she was saying that every time that she was driving in her car when it was raining, she would always look at other people's wipers to see how fast they were going, so she would know how fast to put her wipers on. And when she told me this, I was shocked. I was like, what do you mean you look at other people's speed? She was like, well, sometimes I just don't know if mine are at the right speed. So I look at other people's to figure out what speed theirs are. And I thought that was so interesting because to me, it's very personal. It doesn't matter to me what other people's windshield wiper speed is, because all I know is what I want. I want it to be fast enough so the rain does not block my view, but slow enough so it doesn't make the awful sound. And I thought I just chalked this up to it being this particular person. But a couple of years later on Instagram, I saw someone else, a different person, talking about the same thing, about how they always gauge how fast their wipers should be based on what other people's wiper speed is. And I was like, whoa, it just blew my mind all over again. And so last night I was reminded of these stories that these women shared about their wiper speed. And I realized, wow, this is something much bigger than how fast our wipers are going. This is about trust. This is about trusting ourselves. This is about being able to ask ourselves what we need in any given moment. And what happens is, so much of the time, we're looking to other people to help us to decide if how we're taking care of ourselves or what decisions we're making are the right ones for us. And I want to be clear that there is no judgment here, because I do this too. I might not do it when it comes to my windshield wipers, but I have done this when it comes to health choices, when it comes to career choices, when it comes to business decisions, when it comes to self-care, when it comes to exercising. And this is why it is so important to be connected to your inner voice, because self-care is not about anybody else. It's not about what anybody else is doing. It's not about what anybody else is eating or how they're moving or how they're taking care of themselves or how they're using their money. It's not about any of that. The most important part of self-care is self. You are the most important part of how you take care of yourself. Only you know what you need. Only you know how to take care of yourself. And yes, you can look to others for ideas, but you should not look to others for the answers, because the answers are inside of you. And I just was really blown away last night as I was driving that even with all that we know about self-care, the hardest part of it is learning how to trust yourself. It's learning how to ask the right questions to get the answers that you need. And the more you practice that, the more you trust yourself, the less you compare, the less you have to look to others to know if you're doing it, quote unquote, right or not. Here's the thing, you know if you're doing it right. And the thing that can be frustrating about self-care, and when I say self-care, I mean all-encompassing self-care. Any kind of decision you are making for yourself, that's self-care. That's taking care of yourself. This is not just about getting your nails done and taking a lovely bath, which, by the way, I have no problem with that. You know, I love a good bath. But taking care of yourself is about the choices that you make. And if you are not trusting yourself, you're putting yourself in a position of trying all of these other things that are never going to work for you because they are not for you. They're for somebody else. So I love asking powerful questions. When we ask our inner voice powerful questions, guess what? We get powerful answers. And there are so many ways to ask powerful questions. But the other day when I was on Instagram, I found a post, I think it was a reel from at Just Follow Joy HD. This is Ariana, and she is a human design reader expert. And she talks about human design. And I've done an episode on human design. I've done a couple of episodes actually on human design. And so if you don't know much about that, you can go back and listen to some of those episodes. But essentially, human design, I think, truly is about knowing yourself. It's about understanding yourself. It's about understanding what works for you. By the way, that's different than what works for other people. But she shared some really powerful questions, and they were all so good. And as much as I could share other questions or reinvent them, that's not necessary because she gave us such good ones. And I wanted to share them with you today because all of these questions get to the heart of what is it that you need? What does your self-care need to look like for you? So I'm just going to run them down. And if you're driving, you can always come back to this, but I encourage you to write the question or a couple of questions that I say here that really resonate with you. Write them down, carry them around with you, and ask those questions to yourself as you're making decisions throughout the day. So here they are. There's about 6 of them. Number 1, am I doing this because I feel like I have to or because I want to? I'm going to say it again. Am I doing this because I feel like I have to or because I want to? Whew. Talk about some shoulds right there. We put a lot of shoulds on ourselves, and asking this question will really help you get to the bottom of if this is a should or if this is a desire. And there is some gray area in that, I will admit, but this can be a very powerful question when you're not sure, especially when it comes to self-care, what is the right thing for you. Here's question number 2. If I knew everything would work out no matter what I did, what would I do? I love that question so much because so often we make decisions on trying to predict the future. Like we think this is what I want to happen. And so which decision is going to give me the best shot at making that happen? But if we could really just trust that the thing that is going to happen, the right thing that's going to happen no matter what, then we can sort of become clearer on what we should be doing right in the moment. And again, this is about what you need to be doing, not about what I need to be doing or what is right for me. It's about what is right for you. And that's going to be different for every single person. Here's question number 3. Ooh, this is a good one. If no one was watching, what would I do? Do you trust yourself enough to live in integrity? If no one was watching, what would you do? And this is not just an integrity question, right? This goes back to, I joke often because people are all the time posting their workouts on social media. I joke like, well, if you didn't post it on social media, did you actually do it? But it's the same kind of question, right? If no one was watching, if no one sees you, what is the thing that you're going to do? Are you performing self-care? Or are you practicing real self-care? Because if it's all about what people see, that's performative. And guess what? It's probably not what you really need. So that is a great question. If no one was watching, what would I do? Here's question number 4. This is a good one. What feels most natural? What feels right inside of you? What feels easy? What feels most natural? I love that question. Here's question, what am I on? 1, 2, 3, 4. Question number 5. Does this feel like pressure or joy? When you follow joy, you get more joy. And when you follow pressure, you get more pressure. It, by the way, sounds simple, and I want to be the first person to say to you that it is not. Because we have so many preconceived ideas about who we should be and what things should look like. And this is especially true for perfectionists and overachievers. But if we could get to the heart of, does this feel like pressure or joy? And then follow the thing that brings us joy. Guess what? You are not going to be as stressed out. You're going to be taking care of yourself in a different kind of way. And that feels really good. And here's the last question. If I trusted that I know, how would I decide? And that gets to the heart of what we're talking about today. Self-trust. If you trusted your answers, how would you decide? If you trusted your inner voice, how would you decide? If you trusted that you were making the right decision, how would you decide? These are really powerful questions. And the beautiful thing about these questions is you can go light or deep. And what I mean by that is it can be a simple, ask yourself that question, and the first thing that comes to mind, the first thing that comes up, that bubbles up in your spirit, that's the answer. And it can also be a question that you journal on. It can be a question that you meditate on. It can be a question that you go deep into to find that answer. And that's okay too. A lot of it is about the decision, right? If it's a decision that feels light, then maybe just asking yourself that in the moment is enough. And if it's a big decision, if it's a decision that feels heavy, doing some deeper work on that may be what is required. But ultimately, asking these powerful questions is a way to begin to trust your inner voice and to trust yourself. So when you are driving down the highway of life and it starts to rain, because, side note, it will rain. Only you can decide how fast those windshield wipers need to be. You don't have to look to other people for direction. or for the answer, because you have the answers. You know what feels right for you. And I really just want to challenge you to start to develop that trust with yourself by asking some of these powerful questions and by really understanding that the most important part of self-care is self. You are the most important part of your self-care, not anybody else. And taking care of yourself is never going to look like anybody else. Exactly. Also, taking care of yourself is going to change. Sometimes it's raining. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's raining really hard. Sometimes it's just sprinkling. Sometimes the sun is out and you don't need the windshield wipers at all. So we have to learn how to be flexible with ourselves and how we take care of ourselves and know that one answer. Wouldn't it be easy, by the way, if there was only just ever one answer? Yes, it would be easy, but that's not how life is. It changes. That's what resilience is all about. It's being able to find something new in ourselves again and again and again and trust that. So this is what was on my heart to share with you today. And if you are one of those people who looks to the car next to you to figure out how fast your windshield wipers need to go, I want to challenge you to start finding that answer for yourself, first with your windshield wipers, and then with your self-care. And I'm going to include myself in this challenge because there's work for me to do here still. After many, many years, there's still work. There's always work. And that's the beauty of self-care is we continue to learn from ourselves over and over again. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. That is exactly where we need to be. So as you're listening to this and you think, I don't even know if I can trust myself. I don't know if I can trust how fast the windshield wipers should be. No judgment. And it's okay to ask for help. I'm here. I'm here to help you listen to your inner voice. I'm here to help you understand what are the right questions to ask yourself. So if this is you and you're feeling like you could use a little extra support, I just want to encourage you to reach out. You can shoot me an email or you can head over to my website, kellycover.com/innervoice, all one word. And you can sign up for an inner voice session, just one session. And we can start the work of what it looks like and what it feels like for you to trust yourself, for you to connect with your inner voice and to listen and to live by that inner voice because it's life-changing. So that link again is kellycover.com/innervoice, all one word, or you can just shoot me an email. You can connect with me on Instagram, shoot me a DM at Kelly J. Covert because I'd love to support you in this. It feels really good for me to support you in this. And you know what? When more and more women are living by their inner voice and trusting themselves, guess what? We are powerful. We change the world as women when we trust ourselves. And you have everything that you need inside of you if you will just trust it. Remember this today and every day. You are worthy.